Hi, Sunidhi.
Hello, miss.
Could you turn your video on, Sunidhi?
Yes.
We'll just wait for. Hi. Keep your video on if you can. It'll just help me to observe what you're doing. And we'll just wait for another 5 minutes. There are a couple of other kids who are joining. You can turn your video at that point if you want. Okay. Hi, Ruth.
Good evening, teacher.
Good evening. Okay, so today I want to show you how to draw. Since it's Easter this weekend, I want to show you how to draw an Easter bunny. And we'll write Happy Easter and we'll draw some very nice Easter eggs. All right. Okay, so Sunidhi, today, since it's your first class. Oh, look at that. Wow. How did you make that? That's beautiful. Is that a bag?
It's a bag that's you knot it up and it comes like a rabbit's ear.
That is
And
so adorable. That's very nice.
inside it is an egg.
Inside it, it's an egg. How nice.
And here's a lovely one.
Oh my, wonderful. Is that a
Duck on it.
egg with chocolate inside?
No, it's just a marzipan egg, I think.
Okay, very cool.
And these.
How cute is that? Oh, it's lost its ear.
Yeah. It came out. All Easter sweets we have here.
Hmm. Okay, Veer is going to join. So, since it's your first class today, not Ruth, sorry, Sunidhi, I made a mistake. I just wanted to check what kind of book or paper are you using? All right, so I think what you have is a large sheet. You can fold it in half and use just half. We don't make such a large drawing ever. Yeah. So this would probably be close to an A4 size sheet. And that's yeah, so that it's slightly shorter, I think. And that's the size of sheet that I'm using. And that should suffice. All right. Now, do you have a pencil? A regular pencil? And if you have any erasers, don't use the erasers. Try to draw without using erasers. I don't have any erasers at my end. And if you feel the need to erase something, just first you need to draw what you think is the correct line. And then after you have finished that, then if there is any need to, then you can erase. So best is to draw very light. Don't draw very dark at all. So you'll see when I work that I mostly work with very light lines, and then I make the lines a little darker and I just paint over the pencil. You hardly even see it. Okay, so we're going to try and draw in such a way that we never need to erase. And eventually, how that works is you first imagine what you're drawing before you even touch pencil to paper. And once you imagine your structure, your shapes on paper, then with pencil, you have to just make those shapes real. That's how you should do it. If you start drawing before thinking about what you put on paper, that's when you'll end up making the wrong line. You draw the line and then you think, oh, I should have thought of something else. And then you feel the need to erase. So we're going to reverse that process. Okay. Now, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask me. Just raise your hand so I can see that you have a question, because normally I'm looking down at my work. So, and I'm explaining something. So when I see your raised hand, then I can stop for you and ask for your difficulty. All right?
Yes, Miss.
Okay.
Can
Okay.
I just get a pencil?
Yes, go ahead and get a pencil. All right. Shall we begin? So what we're going to do is make a little rough illustration on the left and then make a fair illustration on the right. So, Sunidhi, if you have some rough paper, like paper that you've used before, you can do your rough work on that paper. And then since we are working with a book, we are going to make our rough illustrations on a small section in the left. And once we have practiced our shapes, then we can make an illustration about this big on the fair side, on the right-hand side. Okay, so since you're working on loose sheets, you can just get some other small paper. You can get an old notebook or something in which you can make all the rough work. So rough work is very important. You need to keep all of that together. It's sometimes more important than what you make in fair. Okay, so do you want to bring that on? Okay. So let's try drawing a bunny in our rough work. So the easiest shape of a bunny is something like this. I'm drawing the bunny really small, not too big. So you have a circle, And then you have an oval and a circle at the bottom. So your bunny's face is normally like this. Then you have a back. You have some legs like this. And you will have little paunch and some paws at the front. And then you can have a nice little cotton tail in the back. So anytime you have to draw even animals, you can draw basic shapes like circles, squares, triangles, rectangles, ovals, and then insert a shape, convert that into a shape that you want. And on top of this, we will draw ears, which are slightly narrow and then widen up like this. There's another one on the other side of the head.
Teacher, is it all right? I'm on my paper. In my book, on this side I do all my rough work, and on this side I do all the fair work.
Why don't you do it another way? Do your rough work behind the same page that you do your fair work.
It's all right if I do it next class, because now I've already drawn the full rabbit.
Sure, no problem. Excuse me. Okay, were you able to draw this? Okay. All right. Now for the eyes, we can draw some very cute, simple eyes, which can be like this. Now I'm going to show you a detail of the eye over here on the side. You can draw, since the rabbit is looking towards the left, we can draw an eye like that, a vertical line, horizontalish line, and then this would be the top of the eye. And then you can draw a little oval pupil like this. And an eyebrow. So we can draw that here, like this. And change the face a little bit. So you draw a nose like that. And draw this nice bunny mouth. And make an open mouth like that. And a chin. Or we can even come slightly smaller. And this now, you can make a line like that, which is just fur. And you can have A bunny hold an Easter egg. Onto which we can make some lovely designs. Show some grass below. Okay, are you able to draw this? Or is it too complicated? So Nidhi, how are you doing?
Yes, it's not as good as yours, but I think I managed.
Can I have a look? Then maybe I can give you some suggestions. All right. Okay. So I think it's pretty close. Now see, whenever I'm drawing stuff and you want to draw the same thing, all you have to do is pay attention to the following. You have to look at what is the proportion. If I make the head this size, what is the proportion of the body? You know what proportion means? Yeah? Okay. So it's all about proportion, obviously size, shape. Then in what direction I'm drawing? Am I drawing the body straight under the head? Or am I drawing at an angle? Then what angle am I making? So if this is the center of a clock, if we imagine this body or this oval was drawn towards somewhere like 5 o'clock. You get it? So then we have direction, distance, and you just have to check and say, okay, how far is it? How long is it? How short it is? That's all. And once you answer all these questions, you start getting all the right shapes. That's all we have to do when we have to copy, not just my work, any other work. Okay, now I'm going to give you a simpler design, much simpler than this. So here's one idea. We have a similar shape like that for a bunny. So this time, remember how I'm doing it. I'm first making a circle. Then at about 5 o'clock, see 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. That is what I mean. At about 5 o'clock direction, I will make an oval, which is almost like these two circles, two of the head circles. And the bottom, I will then increase, so I get a much bigger circle at the bottom, but it sticks out a little bit here. Then I will make the bunny legs here, and this time I'll make this bunny's legs coming forward, or just like that, just this is enough. One here, and one here perhaps. Give it a nice snout. And then from the back, cover it up. Actually, we can do without this hand. And then maybe I can do this. This, put an eye here, and whiskers. And what's missing? The tail. If this is easier for you to draw, we can draw this. And then what we can do is maybe put a little bow on its head like this. So how will the bow be? A simple, simplified bow. and make a banner. See, I don't like the bow. This is how I'm making a banner. We can undo the bow. And write happy Easter. And maybe we can put some Easter eggs like this. So when we make a design like this is called a composition. This helps you figure out your ideas. So now if you want to, we can make this ribbon even bigger. We'll remove the ribbon, and maybe in place of the ribbon or over here, we can put maybe flowers, something like that, flowers on the bunny's head or something like that. Okay, Sunidhi, are you getting it? All right. So let's make this bunny our final picture. It's going to be just about the same size, not too big. Instead of this size, it'll become slightly bigger. And on this bunny, we could probably make a little bit of fur like this. Just line after line of some fur. Like this. All right, let's make it. So leave enough room from your rough work and make your design in the center. Don't make it too big. So here we have, make it slightly lower so that we can draw the bunny's ears on top. Huh? That always happens. The bunny's ears are so large and we forget that they're large. And then they go outside of the page. So this is going to be the bunny, very close to the bottom. Let me show you the composition. 1 second, Ruth. So here's the bunny and here are its ears. So let's start drawing lower. Let's draw this circle. And another circle, another circle. Now, if you can draw the bunny without drawing all these circles, all the more better. So this is the bunny's shape. Comes in a little bit, goes out, and comes down. And both these legs have to be in the same line. Right in the middle over here, we will draw the eye, which is a simple eye, not a very complex eye. And you can draw a small nose like that, just half of a V shape. And then you draw the other ear, about the same height and the same shape, but it's on the other side. So this side is going to have we'll also draw the inside of the ear. Now, for the banner, I'm rethinking the banner. Instead of making it like this, I'm thinking maybe we can have happy and Easter written like that. So, look at how I'm doing this first. I'm going to make one part of the ribbon like this, coming down first and then going up. Okay, do you want to draw this part first? Draw two parallel lines like that. And this line has to come down afterwards. So don't make it too far away. Now see what has happened over here. I'm going to have to erase this here. So don't worry about it. We'll all erase it. And then in the middle, just above this, the same shape but slightly smaller. Now look at what I'm going to do to make the banner. Don't draw it with me. I want, even if we keep it just like that, it'll be fine. I want you to first see this. I'm going to take this line around and do this. Wait, don't do it. Just wait and watch. Like this. And from here, this line like this. Okay. Now I have to show a continuation for this ribbon, right? So I'm going to take this side and go all the way because this has to join there and this side and come all the way here. I'm just going to keep it like that. And this is going to look like the back of the ribbon. Okay, do you want to do this? Now, whatever you're drawing, draw it very light. So in case you need to change any line or erase it, you don't have to stress too much. Now, do you know the story of the Easter Bunny? Why do they have Easter bunnies? Why do they have Easter eggs, in fact? Okay, so that's something that you need to find out. Now, I'm using my flexible eraser. If you have something like that, or just use a regular eraser and only erase the part that you don't want, which is the rabbit ears. Now, another thing we can also erase are the earlier lines like these. And what we can do is put some nice flowers on the rabbit's head. So just put simple flowers. Don't make it too complicated. So just a simple flower like that. And maybe another flower like this. And some leaves. So it'll look like the rabbit is wearing flowers on its head. You can also sometimes make a tiara like that. You can have some flowers coming down, oh sorry, leaves coming down and going up. And then because now the design is so big, we can make some large eggs which will have the same flower design if you want. So we make egg shapes like these. You can make them pretty big. Then maybe one over here. And then another one right underneath it or below it. 3 is enough, I think, because it's quite a large thing. But on this, we can make the same design. So we can make whatever flowers you want. I like red and orange colored flowers. But if you like blue colored flowers or you like different shapes, you can make that. Shall we start painting? Okay, let's see. Nice. Very nice. One minute, keep it up, Ruth. Okay. I think your eggs can be slightly bigger also, Ruth. And now because there's a lot of space between these two eggs, make maybe 1 or 2 in different shapes. You can make more eggs if not big. All right, let's get some color. And I have to go get my paints and water and brushes. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a nice light wash around all of our artwork. You don't have to do this, but I want you to just see how it is done. So I'm going to take a very watery blue and green color and a big fat brush. Okay, I want you to see this. And at some point, you'll be able to do it. So wash is when you put a very light color on a large area. So this is how I'm going to do it. Ruth, Sunidhi, are you watching? Don't paint, don't draw, just see how I'm doing this. I'm taking a big fat brush and I'm going to put some paint around my artwork, but it's very watery, so it'll just be a very light color. And I'm going to carefully paint using a little bit of water at a time. And I'm tilting the book a little bit so that my paint will naturally flow down. In some cases, the color will go on top of some of the pieces, like my leaves, for example. And I'll just spread this around by pressing the brush. See, it's even going onto the rabbit a little bit. Just pressing the brush carefully. But see how watery the paint is and how fast I'm going from one to the other side. So I'm not going to keep going back and forth and back and forth. That's it. That's how light I want my wash to be. So I'm just staining the paper, fatafat. Now, if I want to also add a little bit of blue behind the banners. So I'm going to carefully do the same process on the other side, but see, I am tilting the book. I'm turning it to one side so that I can pull the color down. And if it starts becoming too thick, I just add some water and press the brush down so that I can spread the paint. Okay, so you guys don't do this right now because it can be a little complicated. I'm going to show you some more washes at a later stage. But I just wanted to show you how this looks. Now, the rest of the painting, you can paint the eggs anyhow you want to. Try this one thing. So make a little bit of a gray color using, I'm going to show you what. This is a very light gray color that I made using black plus burnt umber plus ultramarine or cobalt blue. So these are the colors, black, burnt umber, and ultramarine blue. And I've mixed them together so that they look like a gray. And I'm going to take this gray. See how light it is? Very little bit. You need to take just about so much. Just a little bit of black. Just a little bit of burnt umber. And just a little bit of ultramarine blue. And then add a little bit of water. It should not look black or blue or brown. Somewhere in between. And then after this, you have to take a little bit of this, make it slightly gray. And this gray color, now this is what will make your Easter eggs look really magical. You take this gray and paint it like this. The tip of your brush should touch the outside edge towards the bottom of the egg and make a swish like that. This will look like a shadow. Can be even lighter. Now look at the other side. And it has to go through whichever color, whatever design you're making. Like this. The next one I'm making will go through and behind and under. Just in one swish. Okay? This. And the same thing we are going to make on the bottom of the bunny's tail. Okay, just make sure it's very light. Now, in the event that it becomes dark, don't worry, it'll still look like a shadow. Okay, let me know when you're done with this. Don't rush. We'll do it slowly. These important technical points we'll do slowly. Because everything else is just coloring up. You can do that coloring very easily.
Yes.
Yes, Anili.
Yes, is this okay?
Yes, that's so sweet. Very nice. Now, just see the leg of the rabbit. Do you want to make it slightly lower before you start painting? Right now, it looks like it's sticking out straight like this. And can it come down slightly lower? If a little bit of a color goes out, Suniti, it's okay. Don't worry. Even mine has gone out. It won't matter. Aha, nice, nice. All right. Now from here on out, you can choose whatever colors you want to do for the ribbon. Now, what I'm going to do is try and keep the design, these designs, the flowers and the ribbon, a similar color. Since I'm going to make my flowers in red and orange, I am using a light wash of crimson and scarlet. So see, this is how I'm going to again make a light wash. Crimson and scarlet. And when I add a little water to it, it'll become pink. And I'm going to carefully paint my entire banner or ribbon in this light pink color, very watery pink color. So here I'm not looking at whether it is the front of the ribbon or the back of the ribbon, the entire shape of the ribbon, I am staining in this color. Now the trick with painting is, with watercolor, is to always take paint before your brush runs out of paint. So make 2-3 strokes and then replenish the paint. Don't let the brush dry. That's the trick. See, I'm just making 1 or 2 strokes and quickly taking more paint. And just make sure your edges are nice and clean. Now, some of the color will be patchy. See how mine has also become patchy. Let it be patchy. Don't try to make it even and thick. Now I'm painting my flowers with I think I'll make it with a yellow center. You can make yellow flowers with a black center, red flowers with a yellow center. So I'm going to make a combination of the two. Wherever the flower is yellow, the center is going to be black or brown. And where the flower is red or orange, I'm going to make the center yellow. Now remember, don't rush through the painting. Okay, so if your paints are wet in some places, wait till it dries completely, and only after that you should paint the next color. So keep checking if your paint has dried. And depending upon the size of your painting, use an appropriate sized brush. For small areas, use a small brush. For large areas, use a large brush. If you are making blue colored flowers, then you can make a blue colored ribbon also. And make sure in some places, wherever it's important, like the edges of the egg, you paint very carefully. There, try to not let your paint go out because it affects the shape of the egg. Now, the green that I like to use for my leaves is not this bright green. I take this sap green, but I mix it with a little bit of yellow, that is lemon yellow, but then that becomes very bright. So I mix it with a little bit of yellow ochre. So then that becomes a nice, pleasant, muted green color. I'm going to write down this color also. So if you want to use the same, you can use it. So this is sap green. Plus lemon yellow. Plus yellow ochre. Now for the color of the bunny, we can use this color, which is a combination of burnt sienna and yellow ochre. These two. Almost equal quantities. But in watercolor, ideally you should not put a very thick paint of coat of any paint. So you make it watery like that, and using whichever brush you're comfortable with, you will paint like this. You can paint over some of the leaves and just barring a little bit of the nose and mouth. Let me just see how this will look. Paint from here. And actually, if you're comfortable, just paint the whole thing. Why not? And now I'm carefully painting over here. Now, every time, remember, when you come close to an edge, the tip of the brush should be on the outside edge. So you can always see where your brush is painting. Always see the outside. So rotate the paper. Avoid over painting. Now I'm going to paint the back of the ribbon, the second layer of this red, so that it looks darker. Now, because my rabbit has just been painted, I'm turning my book around and painting this part slightly deeper. And this part. Okay, it's 5:15. We'll take 10 more minutes. Do you have 10 more minutes? Or do you have to rush? Ruth, you have to go?
Oh, yes, I have another class.
All right. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll end for now and we'll complete this next week. So we just have to do the lettering that we will do next week. Is that okay? Or have you finished it, Ruth? Ah, okay, fine. You made the, okay, you made the backdrop. Nice, very nice. Okay, so shall we do the lettering next week? Sunidhi, how about you? Okay, all right. So leave it like that, let everything dry. If you want, finish coloring the leaves and then the rest we will do next week. Shall I end the session then? Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you next week. Bye.